What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Another live stream. We are getting ready for the Crypto Breakfast Club 2, our X Space, which comes up here in just a couple minutes. So I'm going to be firing that up. But live with you here on YouTube, we'll be obviously you'll be able to participate here in the conversation. So if you guys don't know, we do the Crypto Breakfast Club on X every single day. We live stream it sometimes as well when we're hanging out here as well. So the markets, man, it is crazy right now. What's going on in crypto? Just a ton of things happening, bullish sentiment, bearish sentiment. For as many people out there that are bullish, you've got some bears. You've got a lot of people saying, hey, this crypto market right now is sitting at a major inflection point. And we've got the Fed decision next week. We've got QT ending, quantitative tightening. Does it mean that QE, quantitative easing, is starting? That's a big question. Bitcoin flashing a potential breakout. XRP showing some unusual strength. We've got altcoins sending some mixed signals that could ignite the next leg of the bull market, because some folks are saying, hey, the bull market hasn't even started yet. We've been in a bear market. And for a lot of altcoins, it feels like that. It feels like we've been in a 4-year bear market for a lot of altcoins. Or could this be triggering a classic brutal bear trap that wipes out the late buyers? That's a big question. Now, here's what I say. I say we've got to prepare for any scenario, because nobody, I don't care who they are on X, nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody has it all figured out. Sure, we're going to speculate. That's fun. And what we're going to speculate on is how to prepare ourselves and position ourselves to win in any environment. In any event, we're going to be prepared for it and set ourselves up to win. Long term, I mean, if I'm looking at Bitcoin specifically, accumulating Bitcoin under 100,000, if you're looking at this, 8 to 10 years down the road, this is a phenomenal opportunity. Getting Bitcoin under 100,000, phenomenal opportunity if you're looking 8 to 10 years down the road, in my opinion. Now, when it comes to altcoins, that's a little different, right? So in this live stream today, in the X space, we're going to be talking about, is this a real breakout? Is it a classic fake out? We'll talk about some key levels for Bitcoin, XRP, some of our top altcoins that we track, why this market crashed earlier, what's going on that's creating uncertainty, institutional flows, which is always, always, always top of mind right now. I've been mentioning this quite a bit lately. This is the first time that we've seen institutions basically control this market. It's the first time ever we've seen the institutions completely have a stronghold on this cryptocurrency market. By the way, if you guys are with us on YouTube, make sure you guys drop a comment down there. If you're not yet subscribed, definitely subscribe. If you're watching on X, we're live streaming on X and Twitch as well. Sometimes we live stream on Rumble as well. No matter where you are, help us out. Share the space out here. Love having you guys with us. We are here every single day for you guys, grinding every single day. So really, really do appreciate that. And we're getting ready to kind of fire up the actual X space. I'm going to go ahead and kind of do that as I talk here. But we're going to talk about institutional flows, macro signals, that are kind of shaping the next big move. And again, how we're playing all sides of this market right now, how we're preparing for anything and everything. I think that's the crucial point we have to make, right? Like, nobody knows exactly how this is going to play out. But the institutions are here. And this is the first time that we've truly been in an institutionally driven market in crypto. If you go back to 2013, it was retail speculation. It was very muted in terms of that speculation. If you go to 2017, we had a little bit more adoption, but not much, right? And then 2021 was driven by all of this hype craziness during the pandemic times, where it was meme coins, it was NFTs, it was metaverse, it was a lot of shit thrown at the wall and let's see what sticks. And everybody and their brother was getting in the game, but they had no idea why the hell they were doing it and what the hell all this stuff was. And now we're figuring out that a lot of that stuff was garbage, straight garbage. And we're trying to figure out what this market looks like moving forward. I mean, that's basically where we are. Right? I mean, we're trying to figure out now what this market actually is and how we can front run the institutions. At least that's where I'm at. Right? So, bull market or bear trap? That's the big question. Bull market or bear trap? Is the crypto market going to melt back down to 85,000? Or what's going to happen here? Or is this the signal that we needed? Is it the moment before impact? Are we getting ready to make some big moves coming up in January? I mean, there's arguments on both sides. We have a lot of bullish narratives right now, and we have some things that are holding us back. You know, the whole thing in Japan, it's real. It's a real thing that's holding us back from the macro side of things. So that's what we're going to get into. I'm going to go ahead and fire up the space right now. And we got it fired up. Got to text my co-host right now. And we're going to get things started, man. Thank you guys so much for being with us. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on with the market, though, while we load up the X space. All right, let's take a look here where we are today. And right at market open, market is pulling back a little bit here. Bitcoin in the last 24 hours did make some nice headway. We got up to 93.9, basically 94,000. We basically touched it. We're back down to 92 and some change right now. ETH is still above 3,000 for the time being. XRP at 215. Solana at 140. We saw some nice price action on Chainlink in the last 24 hours. Their Grayscale ETF went live. So that was positive. What's up, Jess? How you doing? Good morning to you. Put myself up top here. Make it a little bit easier there. There we go. Let's see here. Ask the right question. The answer is basically obvious. Then you will know where XRP is going. Not quite sure what you mean there, M, but I'm excited about XRP in the long term. Do I think it's going to $1,000 overnight or whatever, like these people talk about? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I definitely don't think that's happening. But, you know, there are just some crazy bullish people that have crazy expectations. So, you know, but you got to be realistic. You could be excited about an asset, but you got to be realistic about that asset as well. You can't just be a bull that doesn't have an understanding of math. And I agree with this statement here. If you're in crypto long enough, I mean, I would even say if you're in crypto for 4 years, at least give yourself a 4-year runway. You're going to do really well. A 4-year runway, you're going to do good. Right? But a lot of people don't have that time horizon. They want everything right now. They want everything right this second. And that's just not how this market works. Right? So let me post this out here. Guys, Crypto Breakfast Club is our other page. Make sure you guys are following this page. And this way, you're ready, right? You're ready for our spaces that we do all the time. So I'll post this out. But yeah, we are posting all kinds of great stuff now over on the Crypto Breakfast Club page. We started a podcast as well. We have our X Space that we do every day. And then we have Informative Crypto Podcast. We had our first episode recently out. So it's going to be pretty awesome, man. We've got a couple other podcasts lined up. This first episode got over 10,000 views. It was with Joshua Jake, another fellow content creator. We've got some great guests lined up. So make sure you guys are following the Crypto Breakfast Club page. I want to get this thing up to 10,000 followers sooner rather than later. Because, yeah, we got some great stuff lined up. We got the daily space. We got some podcasts lined up. We're actually going to go ahead and join the Crypto Breakfast Club space. If I talk a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and join as co-host, guys. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in, by the way. I'm going to...
Because I know we said, hey, 80K, maybe 75, but 80K looks pretty low. Maybe put a few dineros, Spanish for money, dineros into the market. But Zach, good morning to you. Bitcoin hit 93, I think almost 94 at one point overnight. Pulled back down to around 92. But Zach, good morning. How are you? What's going on? These markets are marketing,
What's going on, guys? Real quick, I just want to test, make sure everybody on YouTube X, I'm live over there and live on Twitch right now. Just want to make sure they can hear me. So, yeah, man, listen, I think everybody's got an opinion right now. I mean, everybody always has an opinion, but everybody's got an opinion, Oh, the crypto market's going to crash again. Oh, no, this is the breakout. This is the moment. Bull market, bear trap. Guys, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what it is. I don't care. I mean, this is short-term stuff. Like, if you're in crypto for at least 4 years, you're going to do well, right? If you stick to a game plan, you're going to do well, and that's really all that matters. So everybody's got like this thesis, and it's fun to speculate, and we'll continue to do that. But I think what I want to say here is, like, don't just listen to this one person because you heard what they said or whatever, or they said they were right. I called the 2021 crash and I will call it right again, Okay. All right. How many tweets did you delete? How many tweets did you delete? You know what I'm saying? So listen, all I'm saying is don't get caught up in this one narrative and ride with it. The moral of the story, guys, is this. Nobody has a freaking clue. Okay? I'll tell you one thing I'm not doing. I'm not going to sell my Bitcoin. I think, when you zoom out and you look at this for the next, 8 to 10 years, even if you only had like a 4-year time horizon on Bitcoin, accumulating Bitcoin under $100,000 probably is a great idea. Even if you had only a 4-year window. If you zoom it out and go, you say you got a 10-year window, I mean, it's a good opportunity. It's just how you go about accumulating, right? And what your strategy is. It's not a question of should I buy or should I sell right now. It's how do I want to accumulate? How do I give myself the best opportunity to wake up 8 to 10 years from now and be really excited about what I've got, right? But, as we talked about yesterday, I think the reason why there's so much mixed emotions and, people speculating and disagreements right now, it's because the institutions are here for the first time and nobody has a clue what this means. That's just what it is. Nobody has a clue what this means. It's the first cycle that's dominated by the institutions. and I've been talking about this for a while. We have collectively, the institutions are permanently changing this market, and we're in the midst of this change right now. They're changing the structure of the market. They're changing liquidity. They're changing the supply dynamics. This whole space is not driven by emotions and hype anymore. It's all about capital coming in from the institutions. So, listen, I still think we are in a really good spot. We've got a lot of good positive news in front of us, right? But short term, yeah, there's some downside risk. I mean, no matter what, I like that we saw the little pop in the price. I think they're pricing back in the interest rate cut here that's coming next week. I think I read on the prediction market sites that now we're back up over 90%. And I think it's just the classic price it in before the moment, buy the rumor, sell the news a little bit. And that's fine. We'll take it. I mean, we'll take the bounce from, 83 to 93 or whatever. And now we're kind of hovering. That's fine. I'll take it. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we got it.
So, yeah, man, that's basically, I think, where we are. I mean, listen, there's just so much noise right now, and I just wanted to start with that today. It's like, dude, do not let all of this outside noise, allow you to make an irrational decision or something, you're going to regret later, right? And I think that's the most important thing right now is we know what this market's telling us. We know that there's some uncertainty out there. We know that we're up, we're down, we're kind of trapped right now. We've got some bullish narratives, we got some bearish narratives, right? And if you're not like a day trader, why do you care? Why do you care? Like, look for long-term opportunities. And if you are a trader, you can have both a long-term time horizon with, the spot market, and you could still trade the market in the intermediary. I mean, so you got to take what the market gives you, right? And at the end of the day, I went ahead and accumulated and bought 2 more altcoins yesterday that I thought were down, even off the bounce. That I thought, hey, these are still undervalued. These fit my narrative. That it fits my thesis of where I think this space is going, and I'll continue to do that. I think that's really important right now. Is like if you don't have a thesis and you don't have a plan to like which 4 or 5 altcoins you want to accumulate, if you don't have a strategy around Bitcoin right now, that's a problem. Like that's your problem. It's the problem's not is the market going to go up right now? Is the market going to go down right now? That's not the problem. The problem is you don't have a plan. And you just want to see the market go up to solve all your problems in the next, 10 minutes. Right? So that's what I think is happening. So
hey, talking or am I right? Is anybody
wait.
talking?
Hello. Hey Zach.
Testing.
I couldn't.
Yeah, dude,
I couldn't hear.
What's
I
going on?
couldn't hear
Is there
you until I
issues
came up on the speaker panel, bro.
Okay,
so I don't know if something's wrong with the space.
There's issues.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Yeah, that's weird. All right, let me.
You're on the speaker panel, though.
I figured though because a lot of people were.
I can hear it now.
Okay, there was a lot of people leaving here. All right, so let me let me close out. I'm on my laptop. I don't know, just classic X bullshit. I'm gonna leave and come back. Just keep the conversation going. Cliff? Can you guys hear paid as a listener?
No, I couldn't hear anybody. At first I could, but the feed was like losing, like going in and out. And then eventually it just stopped completely until I came up here on the speaker panel.
All right, let me start a new space.
Everything.
Let me start a new space on my personal here. We'll start a new one, guys. All right, guys, you guys probably heard that. If you're listening live, having some technical issues here with spaces, so we're gonna go ahead and start it back up. Hold on. Classic X spaces. All right, here we go, guys. We're going to start this back up. Let's see here. Bear with me here, guys. We're starting back the space. We had issues, technical issues. Classic. Let's see here. Starting it back up, guys. Let's see. All right, guys, we're starting it back up. All right, so we'll wait for some folks to come in here. All right, markets right now kind of turning back around. We got a little bit of a sell-off. But now we're turning back up here.
Yo, Zach, we can't hear you.
What's going on? Can you guys hear me now?
No. I'm on the laptop with the Breakfast Club account, and I can't hear anything since I wasn't the speaker.
So you can't hear me right now?
No, I can hear you. I'm on the stage, though. As a listener,
I don't know what's happening, bro. I have no idea.
On top of that, Crypto Breakfast Club main profile is in here, and you can't see it for some reason. Also.
All right. Let's shut it down again. Paid, you fire it up.
On my account or on Breakfast Club?
I mean, I guess your account, because we've tried 2. We're 0 for 2.
All right. Yeah. All right. Close it down.
All right. All kind of technical issues, guys. It is what it is. We'll roll. We'll join in. I think we're going to get paid to kind of start one up here, guys. But welcome in, guys. Appreciate you guys being here on the live stream, at least. All kind of technical issues on the X side of things. But let's see here. Some altcoins that look pretty good. Sui had a really nice bounce. Really nice bounce. Chainlink, Pepe finally making some moves too. Virtuals Protocol. Shib's actually up a little bit as well. That's nice to see. Chainlink is the one I've been eyeing, though, for a while. Been waiting for this kind of move on Chainlink for a while. Finally a move on Chainlink, right? All right, Paid's got a space started now. Let's see. See if we can fire this thing up finally and get it rocking and rolling.
Check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
I hear you, Paid, and I'm getting some thumbs up in the audience, so I think we figured it out. Paid, can you hear me? Paid, can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Can you guys hear me or no on Spaces? Hello? Hello? I have no idea what's happening here, guys. Technical issues. All right. No, I know you guys can hear me. You guys can hear me on the live stream for sure. I was trying to see if you can hear me on the space itself.
Oh my god, the delay is crazy. The delay's like played it back. I'm listening on the computer also on the Breakfast Club account. Bro, there's literally a 15-second delay right now. That's insanity. Holy schnizer. What's happening?
Hello?
No, Zach, there's a 15-second delay between the time we speak and the listeners getting it. I'm on the computer listening back to my own self, and it's literally like 10 to 15 seconds. It's ridiculous.
Wait, really?
Yeah, why would I lie? Yeah, of course. And when I talk, I mute and I go and wait. I have to wait for it to play back on the computer version on the Breakfast Club account. Well, prior to me being co-host.
All right. Here's what we're gonna do. Screw Spaces today. I'm live on YouTube and X. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna share my StreamYard link. Okay, and anybody who wants to come and speak can just come and speak. Okay, so I'm gonna tweet this out. Okay, anybody who wants to come speak can come speak, and you can obviously just listen in to the conversation. I'm going to send the StreamYard link in Crypto Breakfast Club Telegram.
Wait, Zach, I think it's working again.
No, I'm over it. This is what we're going to do.
Okay, I think it is working though.
How do we? I mean,
I can hear you back in real time right now on the computer. It's synced up again. Prior it was 15-second delay. Now it's actually like if you talk right now, you can hear the echo of you.
yeah, I'm still getting a delay, I think.
Yeah, but it's not 10 seconds.
Yeah, I'm over it. I'm sending the StreamYard link. It's in the Crypto Breakfast Club. So if you want to come join me on my live stream, come join me, and we'll talk about the markets. We'll do it this way. And everybody go listen to my live stream on X. Everybody go listen to my live stream on YouTube. You can pick which one you want to do. And I'm going to screw it. I'm just gonna post this on my X feed too. Want to talk to me in real time about crypto market? Join here. This ought to be fun. Screw it. All right, Paige, shut it down. Everybody go listen to the live stream. We're boycotting Spaces today. Screw them. Screw them. I'm pissed. We're done.
Yo, Elon, fix Spaces, bro.
Yeah, man. We're trying to build a business here. Christ.
We're very important businessmen. All right, we need the Spaces to work. Zach, where did you post it?
I posted it in the Telegram. The link is in the Telegram, and I just posted it live on my feed. So this ought to be fun. But you know what? I'm kind of looking forward to it. It's going to be interesting.
Real quick,
Yeah, put that post up in the nest.
Guys, it's up top real quick.
I'm getting all kind of messages too, Paid. Spaces have been rugging since last night. There's all kind of issues. It'll be good for a minute, and then it's garbage. So I'm not even going to screw with it today.
Gotcha. Okay, guys, that link is above. That's where we will be. So go there.
Let's get it.
I should have done like a minute, Zach, but you can go over there right now.
And guys, share the stream everywhere on X, YouTube. If you're on X right now, obviously share it all over on X. Let's send it. You shutting it down?
Yeah, I was just giving people a minute to get to the link. That's all.
Okay. Well, that link is not the public link. Okay, that link is if you want to join me actually live. Like the public link is just the live stream. Like I'm live on X right now, live on YouTube.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so you guys, if you just want to listen, but if you want to talk, that's how you can do it. All right, so Clifford, Dr. Kong, we got people coming in already. Love it. All right.
Oh,
I'm going over there.
All right,
Now.
send it. Hamasa, can you mute your mic, bro?
Yeah, I've never used this before, so let me try to figure it out.
Get off the space, too.
Okay.
Okay, I'm getting a lot of feedback, Kong.
You're in the show. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh. Wait, how do you mute on here? I don't fucking...
There's a little button down the bottom left.
Oh, wait, I can't click it because I got it through X. Hold on. That might be the issue. Because the X fucking pop-up thing on the bottom blocks it out. Because it's like, oh, you're still on X. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. There we go.
All right. Let's see here. All right, there we go. Okay. So, we're making do.
I mean, I kind of like this better because you can see your screen.
It's not bad.
I mean, we tried to do the video thing on X and that shit just never worked. That was cool because you could actually, when you're talking, you have like a visual aid.
So if you guys are in the backstage, you're going to need to connect your microphone before I can get you on stream. So it'll be like little settings in there. All right, but let's get into it. Cliff, what's up, man? What's going on?
yo, what's up, everybody? How's it going, Zach? Paid, man, it's crazy. We're still dealing with these X issues. I don't even know how many years later now, but yeah, man, just chilling. Happy, what's today? Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to everybody. Chilling, liking what I'm seeing, man. Charts are beautifully green, a little bit up and down this morning, but much better than where we were this time last week. So I'm liking it, dude. I'm definitely loving the DCAing that I've been doing over the past few months now. So yeah, it's looking great, dude. And the bubbles you got on the screen, look at that. I mean, dude, that's awesome.
If I'm muting your mic, we're just getting feedback. But no, Cliff, yeah, I mean it's awesome, man. We're getting some nice price action here. We came down a little bit at market open, but it looks like we're turning back up a little bit. Bitcoin running back up toward 93. We're back green, so a little sell off right at market open. Just a little taking profits maybe from the big dogs, and then Looks like we're trying to grind back up here, man.
Yeah. I was watching the opening bell on Fox Business also, and I saw the Dow open just down a little bit, S&P open down a little bit. So yeah, I guess it just opened a little bit red. Hopefully we close green though. That'd be fantastic. I'm really looking, especially with everything the SEC has been saying over the past few days, and of course QE, entering into QE with the Fed, potential rate cuts next week. It's looking bullish, bro.
Do you think the bottom's 80,000?
Well, I was thinking we were gonna find support somewhere around that, man. Just looking back, a few months back, we were our support or resistance that we really sat at for quite a while was around that 77 to 80K range, and it took forever for us to break out of that. And I was thinking we were going to drop back and kind of retest that a little bit, and we didn't actually go all the way down into the 70s. So we stayed just above it. I think we hit like 80. I think 80 was like the low or something like that. Low 80s, but I really hope that's the bottom. It'd be fantastic if it was. So just kind of go back there, retest that spot, and then hopefully we can make new highs here soon in the next couple of months.
Yeah, man, I'm with you. I mean, we had some interesting news come out overnight. World Liberty Fi is getting ready to launch their RWA products in January 2026. I feel like January, we've got a lot of key things happening. So we've got, Vanguard coming out yesterday talking about basically going all in on crypto. Vanguard was very against crypto for the longest time, and they're finally coming to their senses, offering it to all their clients. So that's happening at the beginning of the year. Then you've got Bank of America talking about, 1 to 4% allocation of Bitcoin for high net worth individuals. I feel like as we shift to early next year, there's a big wave of kind of like, people shifting their stance on crypto. And we've got, I think, a lot of things to look forward to as we turn the page into Q1 2026. So really excited about that. I don't know if we've got Matthew up here. What's going on, man? Welcome.
Thanks. How's it going? I don't know if I have a ton of feedback here or not.
No, you're good, man. Sound good.
Cool. Yeah, no, crazy to hear about Vanguard. And just for people to kind of remember, they're not offering their own ETFs. They're going to be offering the IBIT ETF, which BlackRock just recently said was their best-selling product pretty much of all time. So that's, great to hear that we're just going to get more concentrated focus into an ETF. I don't necessarily know that we need a whole bunch more, but it's awesome to see. And then, hey, 1 to 4% for every high net worth individual into Bitcoin and crypto. Let's go.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm super pumped about that. I think one thing we don't really think about is like, the whole ETF stuff and, these large players that are like turning the page and saying, hey, we're actually advising people to get some exposure to crypto. 5 years ago, they couldn't even talk about it. I mean, and now we're here where like they're not even, offering it, but they're encouraging it. And I think like people forget just how big of a deal that is, how big of a shift that is. And the whole ETF, gaining exposure, the ability to do so, all of that, it's a long-term catalyst. It's not something like you feel like overnight. It's not like a news story, right? It's like, oh, breaking news and the chart pumps, 15% and then comes back down. This is one of those catalysts that just continues to kind of pile on. And that's exciting, man, because, a lot of the catalysts leading up to that, before that, they were all just kind of like hype, news articles like, oh, what if so-and-so gets in, and, oh, maybe, Apple could be partnering with this crypto. A lot of it was just like, we'll see. This is actually happening. And I think it kind of speaks to what we've been talking about for a while, is like we're in this institutional era of crypto, and the institutions don't move fast all at once, right? It's kind of a slow grow. It's a slow grind up. And we've actually seen that with the Bitcoin price, right? Like the Bitcoin price from the bottom of 2022 to getting up to 126,000, it was like that slow grind up. Very different than the, hype cycles where, big blow off top and then come crash and burn down. Do you think because now all the institutional demand that's kind of slowly dripping in, like, are we going to see 70 to 80% drawdowns on Bitcoin? I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at the rainbow chart and sort of the logarithmic effect of Bitcoin prices, the more money that comes in here, the less volatility you should expect, which is good in the sense that you want more people to be part of this and you want them to be able to participate without a really big concern of a drawdown, because institutions won't really come in. If it's so volatile, how is it a store of value? And you hear that all the time, which, we kind of want to move away from that, and we want to see this slow melt up over time. So I think, the years of, we already had a 30% drawdown, which is like crazy to think you're at 120 and you're back down to 80. Like, okay, I guess we're in a bear market all of a sudden. And then you look last year and you were at like below 60. So I think the volatility is going to come down. Now, volatility is your friend. So it's really, important on the other side of this. Like if you're expecting crazy big gains from Bitcoin or Ethereum, probably not going to be the case. Like these are the ones that you're going to dollar cost average and move up slowly with the other ones. So you're going to see altcoins at some point, here start to pop off and a lot more speculation come in that space. And exactly to your point, the reputational risk is now flipped pretty much entirely. 2 years ago, as an investment advisor, you explain to a client, hey, you want some Bitcoin? You get fired for like doing that. Like how on earth could you, it's anathema, right? How on earth could you advise a client on Bitcoin? Now it's completely flipped where they're going to say, what do you mean you're not putting 2% of their capital into Bitcoin? And one thing as an investment advisor myself that is just such a tremendous game shark hack or like value proposition for this asset class is that it's the only asset that sits in a custody without being put to work that goes up in value. Cash doesn't do that, right? If you are giving cash as an investment advisor, you have to go move that around and you have to go put that into assets that are going to make that cash beat inflation or hit some particular targets. But you could just have clients bring that asset to an investment advisory org or a wealth management org, and just by virtue of holding those assets, you could see them increase in value and then therefore increase your asset under management fees as well, which is just awesome from a wealth management perspective.
Love it, man. Love your perspective too, and the seat you sit in always bring a good perspective. Zach, what's going on, man? I see you just joined. What's happening, bro? What's going on? What's on your mind?
How's it going? How's it going, man? Crypto looks great. Nice to be on here with you guys. Man, the market's looking epic. I think Bank of America, what they're doing is super strategic. That's what we're looking for. If all banks do that, bring in, open the floodgates for everyone, it's going to be insane. This is the kind of shift we're looking for and what we need. Definitely. It's going to open broader markets. The mainstream media will talk about it. People that wouldn't invest will come and invest, on top of the ETF. So I think it's such a great opportunity. I don't know if, how long it's going to last, the hype. Typically, a couple of days green and then back to red. But overall, it's looking really, really, really good. So I'm super excited about that. I saw that news that came out from Bank of America, and I said, this is it. Once the banks open the floodgates, we're off and moving. And for me, the strategy is accumulate as much Bitcoin, doesn't matter the price. And 5 years from now, look back and, just laugh that 95% of people don't even hold Bitcoin. And it just boggles my mind. But overall, the market looks great, man. Nothing too crazy other than the Bank of America news. So super, super exciting stuff.
Yeah, man, this is super cool, by the way, just doing it this way. It's cool, like being able to be on the call and seeing everybody. Another news story that came out yesterday was pretty interesting. BlackRock, I think, was what news outlet was that? I'm trying to remember what news outlet. They were talking all about tokenization. It was The Economist, and talking about tokenization shaping the next evolution of global markets. Larry Fink, along with Rob Goldstein, discussed how tokenization could modernize market infrastructure, transparency, enhance efficiency, basically connect TradFi to DeFi. And so I'm looking at BlackRock, right? Like the only products they have out right now is Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now we've seen Grayscale and some other ones, Franklin Templeton, they're kind of going all in with the other ones too. Solana, XRP, HBAR, Litecoin, Dogecoin. I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you think BlackRock's next big move is? Because, I mean, there's no doubt they have the most successful product in IBIT. I mean, you know, they can offer the, you know, less fees. They got the household name, all of that. I wonder, like, are they going to stop just at Bitcoin and Ethereum? You know, is Ethereum their play of tokenization and that's it? I mean, do you see a world where BlackRock will have an XRP ETF, a Solana ETF? I think this is kind of an interesting question because they are still on the sidelines, and you've got other people kind of making moves right now with altcoins. So it's something I've been thinking about and curious about. I don't know what your guys' takes are on it and who wants to take that, but
I definitely think that they're going to try to host some kind of XRP ETF. I would look at BlackRock as trying to own every fractional piece left of the fees that are going to be generated from the movement of these assets, because the price of the price of the fees that you're going to get, it's just a race to the bottom. Like pretty soon it'll be almost feeless to transact at all. And so they're kind of looking at this and saying, like, what is going to be the vacuum that hoovers up as many fees as possible? And if you're thinking about XRP as something that's working on a settlement perspective, on facilitating those payments, like owning that kind of rail seems to be like where they would go. I don't know that they're necessarily going to be a Hedera ETF or a hyper liquid ETF, but I definitely think that they're kind of going toward like the more financial underpinnings in terms of their strategy.
Zach, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, for me, they're definitely, you know, they're going to go down to the ETFs for Chainlink, that kind of stuff. After these assets become less risky, you know, the ones below it will become even more or less risky. I don't know if that makes sense, but you know, now that the world is kind of adopting crypto and banks are understanding it, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, that kind of stuff becomes less risky to them for their portfolio. So they will move on to more risky stuff, you know, Chainlink, you know, Algorand, that kind of stuff. I think they're going to definitely have capital on the side, just like we do as retail investors, to invest in those risky assets. So wherever there's money, they want to capitalize on it. So as things become more mainstream for Bitcoin and things kind of level out, I really do see them keep going down the food chain, basically. High market cap stuff to, you know, 50 to 100 million. They will take the risk when they see the reward. And there's definitely a reward in getting into those plays. 100%. Like they could 5-10x their money. They're going to take the chance. I mean, look at what Michael Saylor's doing. He's betting a lot. He's risking a lot, but he sees the potential. And I agree with him. Like, you know, once you own Bitcoin, you're going to be leveraging against it. You will not be selling the asset. You'll just be borrowing against it. And they'll have the potential to do that with these, you know, lower cap stuff. So that's where I think BlackRock's going to go. That's what I would do if I was, you know, a big hedge manager. Like after that stuff kind of subsides, you know, it's time to take a little more risk. As you can see, the space evolve, and that's how you make money in the space. You know, you buy the fear and you get out on top, and they have the money to do that. They don't have to risk it all, leverage it all, but they will take a certain percentage and go into the new stuff. Solana's, you know, Chainlinks, Avalanche, that kind of stuff. I see that. That's what I would personally do.
Hey, Zach.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead, Cliff.
I could see them doing something like what, you know, CoinMarketCap with the CoinMarketCap 20 index DTF, a basket ETF like what you've mentioned many times, something like the Coin 50, the Coinbase 50 index, something weighted. I could definitely see that maybe. It probably, I mean, they could even exclude Bitcoin from that so it doesn't interfere with their IBIT ETF. And they could just do, the top altcoins if they wanted to, top 20, top 50, whatever they wanted to do at a premium, and just have it weighted. I could certainly see that happening, and they may even have, for the top 5, excluding USDT, they could have their own ETFs as well if they wanted to. I mean, they can do whatever they want, and it's going to be successful probably. So,
And for them, I want to speak on that too. For them, I think it's more the exposure. Like they have, if they get out to different countries, different regions, the more capital they can bring in, the more they can invest in. So I think expanding for them is probably the next step. On top of buying these assets, they gotta get their name out there even more. Go to Australia, different countries, and bring in more capital really, and then they can buy the more risky stuff. So I see them expanding in that direction on top of the altcoins, like getting out there.
I'm curious if y'all
For
have like
sure.
concerns, like from an ETF perspective. One thing I've been hearing, with respect to just Bitcoin itself, is we have to remember that as these traditional wrappers get put around them as a native asset, there is an inherent ability for people to short on the other side. For example, IBIT or some of these ETFs. And in order to short, they effectively need to create a synthetic opposite position for that short. And in doing so, they effectively create sort of phantom Bitcoin or phantom ETH because they have to like sort of offset this position. And that like is kind of concerning if you think, okay, well, at scale, is there some concern now about how these new, I don't want to consider it an ETF, maybe a derivative, but like these new financial vehicles could be manipulated or shorted? All this boils down to self-custody being probably the best way to own these assets outright. But it'll be interesting to see how market manipulation and these markets, because you just saw like IBIT opened up its options market to the effect of like magnitudes larger than it was before, which means that they also have to mean like if you're going to take options on it, you have a call and a put, and that means they have to open that as well to people. And so they've not only have they expanded the Bitcoin ETF size, but they've also expanded the options market for it. And options tend to price the underlying derivative or the underlying stock itself. So I just think that that's something that's like a little bit of a concern. Kind of be careful what you wish for as these big bankers come in and kind of hoard up all this at the same time. But just curious if anybody has thoughts or concerns about that as well.
I have tons of thoughts and concerns about that. Could I speak?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Can you guys hear
What do
me?
you got?
Where am I?
No, I said, what do you got? And that too. I saw all the pigs running around. I don't know what's going on back there.
I just got to a big rescue farm that they have rescued over 300 plus pigs. One lady, and I'm helping her out. It's wild. But okay.
That's
so
crazy,
about
man.
the banks. I know my life is wild. All right. So about the banks, and what they're planning on doing and stuff. I have about 10 years of history in the crypto, and I made over 375,000 recently. Bought properties around the world. Started nonprofits in different places, Hawaii, Alaska, different places that I was at. Everything that I was doing became completely illegal, and all I've been doing is educating people on how they're spending most of the money on war, pretty much on guns, bombs, violence, different things like that. And I've been completely deplatformed. And crypto and blockchain are just becoming legal for me to possibly have a platform. And you can imagine the feathers that get ruffled when I talk about billionaires who pretty much poison and just completely desolate land and people. And I personally feel like we have a chance with encryption through blockchain technology to come together as a people to promote ourselves and our own ideas outside of the will of very tyrannical bankers. And this is just becoming legal for us to do as civilizations across the world. And the platform that I'm using that I see is the most valuable platform for the biggest reach is Ton. And so the entire process around buying land for people and educating people around clean water and clean soil and herbs and using food as your medicine has completely made me a felon almost everywhere on the planet until recently. Just recently are more people and Maha movement with RFK and different people starting to go after the feds and the IRS, because what they're doing is completely tyrannically, like, it should be very illegal what they're doing, and just somebody educating people on what they're doing has made me somewhat of a martyr in this reality, which has been mind-boggling. And so what I've been doing and strongly suggesting people do is encrypt their assets, encrypt what they would like to do so it can go further along and move away from tyrannical bankers who truly wish to control and manipulate people for their entire lives. And this is a pretty far out story for me to just be talking to you guys and introducing myself and stuff like that. But I do this and I get online and I try to find groups that seem like they're talking about, you know, the currencies of the world and different things like that, so that we could possibly have an ideal reality for ourselves and land that is unpolluted and not toxically sprayed and poisoned and controlled by warmongers. And it seems like right now, am I actually able to have somewhat of a platform to talk about this stuff due to encryption? And even though X and all these platforms are encrypted, I still get kicked offline. And the only person, Durov, on Telegram is pretty much the only place I can create something to be able to spread awareness about our projects, about how many lives we're saving, about how we're saving lives, how we're funding it, and all these different things. And it's been mind bending how quickly everything that I create and all the properties that I buy and everything that I do gets shut offline, and I'm treated like a super villain, truly, for just helping people and sending them food in Africa. I get flagged, marked, banks shut offline, and growing ganja. That's been a huge thing, is educating people on how to grow cannabis with the support of their government, and how to metabolize it and make food with it so that they can heal their minds and their physical bodies. And just from doing these few things, cryptocurrency, cannabis, buying land for people and feeding them ganja has somehow made me a fucking super villain in the Federal Reserve's eyes. So I'm looking for places to be able to put liquidity pools that could be more untouched and go further into the future. And Ton and Base and all of these different apps that are starting up is huge. I mean, 10 years ago, to send Bitcoin to people or to buy and sell Bitcoin was a nightmare. You had to be somewhat of a developer to even like mess around with Bitcoin. Now you can get on Ton, press a button and send it to somebody in Africa on the opposite side of the world, which we just did. We're starting up nonprofits in Africa, and we can feed these hungry tummies in Africa in real time with a click of a button. And it truly can be a godsend. And I strongly recommend like people getting together and starting their organizations in these very encrypted ways, so that the banks and the feds can't come in and take as much as they want and shut you down whenever you want. Because, you know, as soon as you start making millions of dollars or something like that, it starts to become very clear that it's not your money to do what it is that you want to do with it. You actually have to, you know, do a bunch of different things. And I'm really, really bullish on anybody coming together and channeling their currencies into their own enterprises, because truly these multi-billionaires, these BlackRock, these different companies, it's all about control and war. And it's really hard to see that, you know, like the American government just recently spent $150 billion or 100 something like that on bombs and war stuff to these different countries that are warring, and they think that's going to cause peace. And that's kind of like Hitler saying, you know, let's go take over the world with bombs and kill people, and that's going to cause world peace. And it's so far away from the truth and the reality. And I just strongly implement people, like if they want to live a beautiful reality and have healthy children, that we slowly start getting away from anything that is poisoning the water streams, that's poisoning our plants or anything like that. And I learned a lot of this in Hawaii growing up. I sailed around the world for many years, and then I found Hawaii and I started learning how to grow with Hawaiian elders. And it's pretty much clean air, clean food, clean water, and it's not for sale. Never sell it, and its value's worth more than what you could ever imagine. And yeah, and I see that we're able to possibly have a global impact just by encryption. And because back in the day, you know, it was completely illegal for me to grow herbs and talk about feeding people cannabis and it be good in their diet. I was a criminal like 15 years ago. It was, and now watching the technology and the encryption evolve over time and being able to talk to people and educate people, I still get banned offline and kicked offline, and the feds freeze my accounts and all that stuff. But there's still at least, you know, a platform that I can get onto and possibly continue to show these projects. And really my prayer is that animals, people live in peace and they're happy. And I'm plugging that prayer into encryption codes inside of TON, inside of blockchain, so that more developers and more people can be thinking, okay, we have unlimited amounts of funds. The Fed literally says they can create as much money whenever they want. They put zero money as possible, but what does that money do? And that's what I like to really emphasize and put the prayer into, is like, what are we going to do? We have infinite capabilities as countries, as people. What are we doing with it? And to watch these war criminals just be killing people and dropping bombs all over the place with the billions and billions of dollars that are made up, it's mind-boggling. And we could be cleaning waterways, we could all be living in beautiful oases already. It just takes collectively us knowing what the will is and channeling our currency into it, and we could all be in paradises. And I truly pray for that for everybody, and all the kids in the future generations, that we have clean water, clean food, and we're healthy and happy. And I pray that if anybody's doing dev work in the blockchain reality or doing any type of coins, that there's some type of good intention behind the coin. And yeah, that's my prayer. And I really appreciate you guys open up this space and coming together on these spaces and talking about the currencies of the world, because it really is going to dictate a lot of people's lives. Where the currency goes, how we spend the currency, the intention behind the currency, the projects, is going to affect many, many people's lives. And I pray that we steer the children out of war and poisoning, and get them off the war games and stop making war look cool as a 5, 6, 7-year-old, because they'll have guns in their hand at 16 and ready to kill people at 18. And
we just gotta watch what we say. Dude, I hate to say this, but on YouTube, if we were on X, it'd be fine. Listen, I really appreciate what you're doing, and I think you're championing the.
What are we
the
on? What are we talking on?
Well, I'm live on YouTube right now. X.
Oh yeah, YouTube.
Yeah, so it's just one of those
things. Like, yeah, I didn't know what we were on.
No, yeah, we were just on X, but yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, I hate to even do it, but it's my livelihood. So
yeah, no, I feel you, man. If it were up to me, I'd do it all over again. I'd just stay fucking silent. I would stay silent and not run my mouth. Like
I think what Elon has done, though, I mean, he kind of saved freedom of speech in a lot of ways, and I think that's a good thing, right? But listen, I love what you're doing. I think it's awesome. You're using crypto for good, and you're kind of flipping the narrative, right? Because for a really long time, you know, crypto was looked at as this like nefarious thing, and it's only used for bad. And I think what you're talking about, I mean, really speaks to how it can be used for good. So I appreciate that, man. Really do.
Man. Definitely. And I try to tell people are like, oh, TON, there's a lot of scammers and different things on TON. Yes, it's a very powerful tool. It's like a lightsaber. And it doesn't mean that lightsaber is inherently evil. It's just that evil people pick up that lightsaber and they use it. And good people can pick up that same technology and wield it and use it for good. It's just sad to say that there are many corrupt organizations doing very corrupt things. And we can use all of that technology, all of that blockchain, all the code inside of the matrix, the program, the AI to do good things for people and not bomb them and drone strike them. We can program those drones to be planting and building beautiful oases for each other, for ourselves, protecting people. And I just strongly encourage any dev that knows code, that knows how to program, that's in the matrix and on the 9 to 5 and everything, that they possibly plant some code of let's save lives, let's save people's lives, let's have these drones picking people up, nurturing them, brushing them off, and saving their lives. And just that mantra, that thought going into the code and going into the AI right now could literally shift tons and tons of things, or at least have some type of resistance for these drone strikers or whatever's going on. And yeah, I'll stop there. And I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate you guys listening to me and hearing me out. And yeah.
Appreciate that, man. Yeah. Thanks for popping on, and thanks for finding us. You know, guys, coming back to kind of where we are right now in terms of the markets. So Bitcoin right now, kind of in between this 92 to 94K range. So I think a big question is going to be, you know, can we hover here like long enough to get to some positive catalysts? What are you guys looking forward to most in terms of the markets at large as we enter kind of Q1? I mean, and what do you want to see toward the end of the year? I mean, do you guys think we could make a run still this year? Do you think we're kind of stuck where we are right now? I mean, and I guess the big question is like, what are kind of the breaking points for you, the positive breaking points that I think you think could really flip this thing around? I'm curious to hear from people up here. I think we've got Cliff. I'm looking just down here. Zach, if you want to jump in, Matt, Pade's up here. What are your guys' thoughts on this? What are you guys looking forward to most?
The money printers coming on.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what we need. Give people money. That's it. And it'll come right back to the market. It might not be all, but it'll be something. That with China, you know, I think Q4 is, for me, it's kind of, you know, it's a wrap. I know we're going to tax season, so we'll go up a little bit, but we'll see it retrace a little bit. But going into 2026, I think we could see a decent run. If there's no wars or anything and the money printers turn on, it's a perfect catalyst. The banks opening their doors. I mean, I do see it going up a little bit. Do I personally think we hit the top? Yes. I know everyone harasses me I was on the VC last night with a bunch of guys late, and they're like, you're so bearish. I'm like, you know, it goes up a little bit and it comes back down a little bit, but we're hovering at a good level right now. Us being at this level in Bitcoin is extremely bullish. It's funny how the public reacts to going down to 92K and they're bearish. But when we're at 60K going up, everyone was so bullish. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like when it comes down, everyone goes bearish, but we're still sitting very, very well in the market. And for us to hover around, you know, 92, 94, I think is great. That's where you see the next level. You know, it's got to kind of subside, even out a little bit, and then peak up. You know, it's not like a massive run, but if we're steadily going up and not declining too much, we're in a perfect market in my eyes.
So, I mean, you think this is a pretty healthy retrace? I mean, it kind of mirrors what we saw earlier in 2025. I think what's weird is if you look at the start of 2025 to now, Bitcoin's basically done nothing. It's basically been flat. And I think it speaks to like the institutions that have come in and this whole 4-year cycle thing that was a thing that I don't think is a thing anymore. But I think we have a lot to look forward to in 2026. And I think what you said, Zach, is crucial. You know, just from a macro standpoint, that's going to be good for everything. Stocks, crypto, people, I mean, just everyday life, all of that. And then I think inside of crypto, regulation is huge. You know, getting full clarity. You know, we got some news from the SEC, Paul Atkins, not too long ago too. Yesterday, I think. I think I bookmarked it here. Basically, here it is. New SEC chair Paul Atkins says the agency has enough authority to drive forward on crypto rules and plans to unveil an innovation exemption in a month or so. So another kind of target date, this January, February timeframe, really stacking up with a lot of interesting things. And I think this is going to be the big one for, big high net worth individuals, banks, big institutions to fully feel like, they can come in here and participate, right? So that's kind of what I'm most looking forward to is the regulation side. Obviously, I think the tariffs is still a thing. I think that's creating a lot of uncertainty in the broader markets too. That's another one if I had to pinpoint it. But yeah, man. Matthew, what do you think, man?
I definitely think every day that Bitcoin is not at zero, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. Like this is just something that we have to we get to see and experience together. That like even in, and I was buying beers for Bitcoin at $4,000 a pop in 2016. You're like, man, I can't believe I can buy actual stuff with this thing. And then, almost 10 years later, you're just in this position where you're like, I can't believe that this thing has grown so massively. And when I think about 2026, it's definitely, there definitely is a war still going on in Russia and Ukraine. And Russia just came out today and said that if provoked, they will attack Europe, which is never good. But at the same time, there is going to be a massive flow of liquidity. I think they're really going to try to unlock as much capital as possible in 26. I think IPOs are going to come roaring back. We saw Anthropic get, kind of a new valuation of around $300 or $400 billion for their IPO, which is, rumored to happen in early 26. You're going to have Kraken and Anchorage and a number of BitGo, probably a number of these crypto shops going public and just releasing a ton of liquidity out into the ecosystem, lowering rates, with Hasek coming in most likely. And then don't forget the midterms. Like, let's not put it past this administration to gin up the works as best they can as they go into midterm elections in 26 to make everything look as good as possible. So I don't think that there's anything too scary to kind of be looking at here. A lot of things I'm concerned about, but definitely excited to see what happens in 2026. I would probably make a bet here that January and February might be a little bit of a cooler start to the year, just as typically things tend to go. But I would definitely like to see things heat up again end of Q1 and into Q2.
Hey, Zach, can I get in there?
For sure, man. Yeah. I was going to you next. Yeah.
My bad, man.
No, you're good.
Two things I'm watching right now with skepticism. I'm not even going to try to say it. Anyways, the Japanese bond market hitting the 30-year bond yield hit its highest point in history, 3.41%. That's one thing I'm watching right now. And I'm also watching what's going on with the U.S. and Venezuela. If we go boots on the ground there, obviously that's going to be negative sentiment. It's going to cause a lot of fear. People are going to believe that we're getting into a new war. So something to watch out there. I think the Russia EU thing is just a lot of posturing. I doubt there's going to be anything come of that. And probably the Ukraine Russia war will probably be over, I would say, probably within the next 6 months, in my opinion. So where one ends, another begins usually. So just something to keep in mind on that one. And also, there's still 4 weeks left in Q4 of this year, right? People begin tax harvesting in October. So, institutions, high income retail, I guess you could say retail, investors also tax harvesting began October. I'm not going to count out another run up for the entire market right now before the end of the year. So, and I also believe that we will. I think Q1, Q2 is going to be basically I think it's where we're going to top next year in pretty much all the markets. That's my opinion. I think once the new Fed chairman gets in, they're going to cut too deep, and we're going to see inflation come back really heavy. And that, I believe, is why they're talking about right now potentially removing your income tax, because they know when they cut that it's going to raise inflation, which is going to raise their tax dollars made off of your everyday items, everything else you have to spend money for. So if we see them actually remove somehow, I don't know how they're going to do it, but if they actually do remove income tax, then it's going to be because inflation is going to be very high, and they're going to get that money from your tax dollars on buying different things and paying your taxes. So it's going to equal out just about, but that's what I think, Zach.
So that's a really interesting point on the income taxes, because if they take away the income tax and they let you invest more, they can make more money on the capital gains tax from people who are selling and buying and participating in the ecosystem than they can from just like the ordinary income stuff. So
Yes.
I think that that's like a really interesting dynamic that you mentioned. Like they could get rid of income tax in favor of not necessarily larger capital gains taxes, but if people are richer on paper and then they are selling or using that richness and putting it into the economy, they have to pay taxes on that. And the tax expenditure for the government is something like it relies like 15 to 20% on capital gains, which is pretty crazy. So if people aren't taking gains, then the government doesn't make any money and can't pay back that debt.
Yes, exactly. Yep. So it'll look like they're helping us on the surface, but when you dig down into it, it's probably we're probably going to end up paying more in tax. So,
Cliff,
yes.
I know you'll be happy to see this. 41.5 million in day one of inflows for Grayscale's Chainlink Trust ETF. This is Peter Mintzberg, CEO of Grayscale. Clear signal of broader market demand for Chainlink exposure. This is only the beginning. More to come.
That's impressive. That's impressive. I'm really impressed, man, with XRP and Solana, their debuts as well. And Chainlink's no exception to that either. And it's just it's amazing to see these. I guess you could call them blue chip altcoins, right? It's just amazing to see the institutional demand for these, and it's really awesome. I mean, it kind of solidifies that they are important and they do have a use case within the crypto ecosystem. So cool to see, man. I'm bullish on that.
You know, I made a bold prediction back in the day. I mean, it's early. We'll see how this plays out. But I said that after we saw the Ethereum numbers come in when they first went live with their ETF, I said, you know what? I'm going to bet that XRP will have more inflows than Ethereum. I think there's more pent-up demand there than Ethereum. And so check this out. The spot XRP ETFs became the second fastest to cross 800 million, only behind Bitcoin, beating out products of Ethereum and Solana. So people love to hate on XRP, but the numbers speak for themselves, right? I mean, 800 million is right there. I mean, Bitcoin's the only one topping it. XRP and Sol ETFs came up around the same time. Solana funds launched first and did well too, but XRP second fastest to cross 800 million in ETF flows. Despite all of the naysayers and speculators who hate on XRP, there's demand for it from the institutions. I mean, that's right here, right? I mean, it's right in front of us. So I'm really, really anxious and excited to see, as we've been talking about, the future of basket ETFs and which assets are included. I think we're starting to see, though, it's starting to come to the surface a little bit. XRP, Solana, HBAR, Chainlink, like these core infrastructure plays, right, that actually are helping this merge of TradFi and DeFi. I think that's really where the focus is for me right now in terms of investing in alts. And I don't know how you guys feel about that. I mean, maybe there are a few others maybe still lingering. You know, I think Ondo is going to get, some love here when it comes to basket ETFs. I could totally see, a real world asset tokenization basket where you see, some of these big players in there. But I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on this, but I saw this headline this morning. It was pretty telling for sure. I know it's early, but still telling.
Does it bother anybody that, to me, I mean, like, I love Chainlink. I think it's a great project, but like, it's a governance token. Like, at least XRP is used to settle transactions. Some of it's burned. Like, there's a revenue model behind it. Some of these other tokens and use cases have like viable ways that the organization makes money and generates revenue, which is really important. But like Chainlink, I just don't like, I have a hard time coming to grips with the fact that it's a governance token, and why is there tremendous value in being able to govern on that network. So I just be curious about thoughts.
Well, the reason that there's value is because of the integrations that Chainlink has and the services that they provide. So they're not IPO'd. They're
Right, but
not
like,
publicly traded. So that's really the only way that you can have exposure to Chainlink, right? The company itself is through the token.
right, but like, what if they were like Ripple and they did maybe pursue an IPO, does that make the token worth less? And does that value imply that one vote equals $16 or something like that?
I mean, if they IPO'd, I mean, maybe it would affect the token some. But it's still with it, I guess you could say, with the model that they have is structured more like a DAO, right? Kind of. So the vote itself would probably be worth more than the IPO stock per share. I would think, just because you want to have these institutions want to have the ability to sway the company or provide input in the direction that they want the company to go in.
But that's kind of like
So,
ironic, because owning a stock means you have a voting share in how the company moves. So like, maybe they would never become a publicly traded company because their governance token could act like a stock in that sense.
mhm,
But it
it's
doesn't,
possible.
but like, owning a stock and part of a business is owning the discounted future cash flows of that business. And if that token isn't at all related to the revenue generation of the business, only a vote, does that necessarily have a underlying value separate from potentially a share in a company that could issue dividends or could issue fee share, things like that?
Well, I would just say I would just ask how does it not have any of those qualities? You know, um,
Because just because you can vote on something doesn't mean, like, I would rather own a piece of the business and get equity in the business and get fee share in the business based on their revenues than just have a vote. But as if I own a stock, I get both. I get the ability to vote on things on the board, and I get future revenue potential. So like, the fact that
well,
they
you can
isolate,
stake it. You
oh,
can stake Link as
you can
well.
stake it.
Yeah, you can stake it, and they've got
Where,
different.
where's the yield come from?
One of
I'm not
the
sure where their
reasons
yield comes
one of
from.
the reasons why Chainlink got really big is because of its Oracle off chain data, that it can talk to computers off chain through oracles, and oracles, after BTC and Ethereum and then Chainlink coming out with the oracles, pretty much took over, because that's how the new AI is going to be running its servers and data off chain and computation algorithms. So Chainlink is likely here to stay inside of the blockchain tech, and whether it goes up or down is speculation, and how it's getting funded through the government and all that stuff. But it's definitely a big piece in the blockchain and just the whole game. Chainlink creating oracles pretty much made it so that we can talk to computers while offline. And
Yeah.
No doubt that it's a great use case and a great business, and from an Oracle perspective has a tremendous value in the ecosystem. My point is that it's very hard to value an asset like this when the underlying ownership of that structure is based on a vote and not based on who uses it, how much it makes, or any of the other. For example, it's a decentralized protocol. So if somebody wanted to use Chainlink to produce a widget or produce a software or an application that generated revenue, you don't get any benefit of that. Only that more people are maybe using Chainlink for that entire process. So Chainlink isn't burned. It's not. There's no revenue fee share from it. It's just a voting protocol. So why does it have value?
There's revenue. So through CRE, Chainlink Runtime Environment, if you use Chainlink as the settlement token, you receive a discount on your whatever your fee is going to be for their services. And I believe it's like 10 or 15%. So you can use any token you like, right? That in the background is exchanged, swapped for Chainlink, right? And but however, if you use Chainlink, let's say if Swift decided they wanted to use Chainlink to settle whatever it is that they're doing, right? They can use Chainlink and they get a 10 to 15% discount on that transaction.
But that's even a worse use case, because now it's not a discount, it's a subsidy on their fees. So now they're making less money by giving you a discount, a quote unquote discount for this, and it doesn't help their business. I guess is my point. There's two pieces here. There's the business, and then there's the token. And
well,
the
it helps
business
the
can go make money.
holders. It helps the holders of the
How does
token
it help the holder?
because it makes whoever's trying to do the transaction, it makes them have to, one, either buy Chainlink, or two, hold it so that they can get a discount.
That's fair. I mean, that's good as a holder, but then you're not holding the token, you're using it. And is that Chainlink burned, or is it just moved?
I believe they're putting it into their strategic reserve. They're using a portion of that to go into the reserve. There's only 1 billion tokens total for Chainlink, so they really don't need to burn anything.
1 billion's a big number.
I mean, not really. 100 billion XRP tokens. So
yeah, but every time they get spent or every time they get used, a fraction gets burned.
Well, you can just unlock out of escrow at any point. So is it really ever burned?
So I'll interject here. I wonder with like market structure bill, because there's going to be a lot of things said, like, about that and like what things look like. I wonder if Chainlink could adjust their tokenomics or adjust their business model to where, what am I trying to say? I wonder if some of these companies, because I know what you're trying to say too, Matthew, is like, I want to invest into it like a stock, knowing that, I'm investing in the success of this company and there's a business model. I wonder if they're going to adjust some of these, and these are going to be just looked at as securities in some ways, right?
Uniswap is a great example. You couldn't have fee share before. All of a sudden you can have fee share now. Boom.
Right.
There's a great use case. Love it. Fantastic.
And I wonder how easy that is for Chainlink, and then for another company, another asset. I wonder like what that process is going to look like. Because I agree with you. I think in order for it to work long term, I think it has to be structured that way, where people, because that's why people invest in stocks, right? Like it's like we know what Apple's doing. They're selling iPads and they're selling AirPods, and I use this stuff. I'm using a Mac, so I get it. I just wonder how easy that process is, and if that will be part of kind of the future of like regulation and looking at these things as businesses.
Well, the irony is that they couldn't do that to begin with, right? They had to launch a governance token because that way it wasn't a security, and then they wouldn't be looked at that way. So like the irony is they shot themselves in the foot in a way by creating something that was the perfect idea for a protocol that needs a governance token, but because of the regulatory environment could not have an investable narrative.
Well, that was the same way for any company that launched a token.
Exactly, but Uniswap was a governance token, and then they said, oh, well, the rules changed and we could just make this a fee share also. So just to Zach's point, I would agree. I think a lot of these tokens or these organizations either launch a new side token that can be used as a fee share type of type of mechanism. But I think governance tokens in and of themselves have a very challenging way to describe their narrative as I can predict or I can see where the value of this token goes moving forward, and it generates value.
Well,
Again, I
that
love
would
Chainlink.
classify it as a security, though. And
Correct.
I think that the whole idea of DeFi is to not be a security, right? That's where Uniswap is probably going to run into issues.
But it's already passed, like it's already decided to make that change, and it's already doing revenue share because the rules have been changed. And the regulatory environment is so much, less stringent than it was previously. So I think that
Well,
there's a way.
we don't have regulatory clarity yet. They've loosened up the chains, I guess you could say, a little bit, but we still don't have regulatory clarity. And the only thing we know right now that is not a security is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and I
So,
believe DPIN is what the SEC said.
so the SEC and the CFTC have two different jurisdictions, and many of these tokens are actually under the jurisdiction of the CFTC as commodities. Like XRP, for example, has a very large defensible use case as a commodity, and it's therefore not classified as a security and can be used in a whole host of other things. So absence of regulatory clarity is actually important because it hasn't been deemed a security doesn't necessarily mean that it will be, and could be filed under other jurisdictions in the future pending their use case.
So what use case does XRP have now that RLUSD is out and released?
So XRP is used to facilitate a settlement of transactions. RLUSD is a stable coin. So
Correct.
they're two different use cases entirely.
So why wouldn't you use a stable coin to settle transactions at a stable amount and use a volatile asset instead?
Because maybe I don't want to go into dollars. Maybe I want to go from yen to peso and not need a bridge to a dollar. Like, you shouldn't need the dollar.
You have to use the dollar.
No, absolutely.
It's a world reserve currency. Why would you not want to use the dollar if your currency in your region is the peso?
What I'm saying is you can skip that step.
But why would you?
Because it's faster and cheaper.
It's faster and cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, because in order to, like, it's like the old adage, right? Like, in order to get oil, you had to, get into it's like an extra step, right? You don't need the extra step. Is essentially what Matthew's saying, I think, right? In order to go from one currency to the other to get it to, you know what I mean? You could just that's the use case for XRP. It's just it could be cross border, one time done, right? There's no reason to go through that other hurdle.
So Zach, whenever you offload from whatever exchange it is, I'm assuming that's what we're discussing here, is going off chain back into your bank account, right? Since we're discussing fiat, I would assume when you get RLUSD, right, and you sell it on the exchange, that whatever exchange it is that you use, when it hits your bank account, it's automatically going back into pesos. It's not like your bank just accepts the dollar and now you have dollars in your bank instead of pesos. It's the same thing.
But you're going to get hit with a fee there in order to make that happen, where you wouldn't if it was just one currency all the time.
So
do you guys use Zelle?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I found out something really interesting the other day. Zelle is a consortium of like 7 or 8 banks, and it's not even a payment system. It's a messaging system. So they don't even transact money through Zelle. It's not a money transmitter. It is a messaging platform between institutions so that they can settle in dollars what your transaction is and just communicate to the other party where the debits and credits are. So the idea that we have the ability to transact without using a stable coin or without using a dollar, like, it's just becoming sort of infinitely liquid. Like, you don't need the dollar. Yeah, it's a global world currency to settle transactions that maybe people want to do from an institutional perspective with a specific use case, but it doesn't mean that it's always going to be that way. And there could be newer technologies out there that just let you do this without that kind of intermittent step.
I don't understand the point of it. I mean, I would rather have the dollar if I was in a country that my currency was pesos and devalued like 30 to 1. I would rather have the dollar.
Oh,
Why not?
sure. Like that's fair. And there's nothing wrong with RLUSD or any of the stable coins. I think there's two different use cases for what the underlying XRP technology does and what RLUSD is intended to do.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't. I mean, I think that market is much smaller than using the dollar, a stable dollar. Settling in something else it would be much smaller, in my opinion. But sure, I mean, I guess there's a market share there.
Always interesting. Zach, I do have to drop, but thanks for having me, man. Great conversation with the team here.
Enjoyed it, man. Enjoyed it. Always welcome. And yeah, have a good day, man. Appreciate you.
Keep it up, guys.
Awesome. We got Mutasco up here too. Mutasco, what's going on, man? Good morning. What's happening? Mutasco, you there? He's muted now. Zach, you still there, man? Any thoughts on the conversations we were having around Chainlink XRP?
I didn't get to say this, Zach, but Link, their revenue comes from integrations. Their revenues comes from their services. So all the services that they provide, CCT, CRE.
Does that money come back into the token, or does it come into the business?
If they do buybacks, which they've been doing.
Okay.
I mean, and maybe eventually they'll change the model, but I mean, I don't think as a company they necessarily need to.
I understand where Matthew's coming from for sure. I mean, I get it. And listen, I invest in Chainlink because I'll speculate on the asset right now where I can, knowing what I know in terms of what they do and what they provide and how important they are in our space. I think it would be nice to have a cleaner understanding of how this Link token goes up based on the success of the business. And I think that's what Matthew was trying to get at, right?
Right.
And I want that too. I do. And I think it's something that could and probably will be resolved with regulation. Because I remember reading some of the stuff that was in there about how they're going to kind of outline, what you need to do in order to classify as this, or what you need to do in order to classify as this. And I think a lot of that is going to be kind of figured out once there's a blueprint, right? Where then Link and whoever else can adjust their model to fit that bill, whatever box they're trying to be put in, right? So yeah, I think it's, for the time being, I'll speculate on the token. Do I wish it was a little cleaner in terms of knowing 100% why I'm investing in this token and what it's tied to? Because if it was a direct correlation of like, hey, if Link's technology is used, token goes up. You know what I mean?
Right.
That would be clean and easy, and it'd be like, oh, okay, well, yeah,
I think they would all love to be able to do that. The only problem is they would be breaking current, I guess you could say, regulation in doing so in some form or fashion. Right?
Yeah, it's like they're not allowed to do that right now. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, they have to all wait. That's the same reason. That's the same exact reason that XRP went through all the shit that it went through for the past freaking 7-8 years.
100%
because of all that stuff.
Yeah, Ripple, the business was fine. It was just this token element, right? Yeah.
Yep.
And I want to look at. I don't think Bitcoin. So to me, Bitcoin's clearly a commodity. It's because you don't have a governing body. Like you don't have a face. Like you don't have a board. You don't have, you know what I'm saying? But when I look at Ethereum, you've got a face, you've got Vitalik, and you've got people that work at the Ethereum Foundation. When you look at XRP, You've got Ripple. You've got Brad Garlinghouse. You got Stuart Alderati. You got David Schwartz. You got all these people. You know, Solana. You got I can't ever say his last name. Yeah,
Totally.
Tully. Yeah,
Yeah.
Vanalenko. Or you see what I'm saying? Dogecoin is the closest thing to Bitcoin.
Yep.
Clear commodity. It's proof of work. There's no governing body. Well, they actually do have they have some people there, actually. It's a little bit different, but you see what I'm saying, right? Cardano, you got a face. You got Charles Hoskinson. You got all these people, you know, Chainlink, you got a face. You got Sergey. So I want to look at these as companies, and I want to invest in them with 100% confidence that I'm just investing in a company. I would love to be like, yeah, I invest in Ethereum, Chainlink, XRP, and it's just like investing in Apple, Amazon, and Netflix. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not that clear cut yet, right?
Right. Yep. I agree. 100%.
And whatever that looks like, you know, I think it's coming sooner rather than later. Finally, you know.
And then we're gonna really see some interesting stuff, dude, with all of these guys. All of them. Once they got clear rules to the road, all of them are going to really release what they've probably been working on this entire time. You know, Ripple, Link, Ondo, all these guys. That's probably when the dam is going to break loose.
That's where I think, you know, yeah, I agree. I mean, that's where Litecoin's kind of interesting because like Litecoin's set up like Bitcoin, but you've got a face.
Yes.
You know?
Yep.
So like then that blurs the line, right? It's like, well, it's structured like a commodity, but you do have a governing body. So like, what is that?
Yep.
You know, there's a lot of different kind of situations, but then there's some clearly like some ones where it's like, this is a company, like World Liberty Fi. This is a company. Chronos. This is a company.
Yes.
You know, Aster, this is a company. Swede, this is a company. Stellar XLM, this is a company. So yeah, it'll just be interesting to kind of watch how they do that. Personally, I would love for them to build out a separate kind of thing, like where they're not securities, they're not commodities, they're create a different basket.
Yes,
for this stuff. But I don't know. I don't know if that's what they'll do.
New technology deserves a new category.
I agree. I mean, it's like the old adage of like, why are we still using the Howey test when like, you know, the internet wasn't even thought about yet when they created the Howey test? You know, it's like,
and they're still using it, Zach. They're still using it to this day on how they're classifying this stuff. They didn't even create a new way of classifying it. They use the Howey test, and they're still doing it the old way.
Yeah, and I when I saw the Howey test come up in their new things, I was like, oh my gosh, they're still going to use this in some form or fashion.
Yep.
You know, I mean, it'll be fascinating. I think that's going to be a really big breaking point, though, is when people in the TradFi world, because that's what they say about crypto all the time, right? It's like, what does Chainlink do? I don't get it. Like, what's their business model, right? Like, what does Cardano do? What does Solana do? And it's just not clear cut. It doesn't make sense because people just have in their minds how like earnings per share works, right? Oh, what's the revenue this quarter? You know, stock price goes up. You know, oh, we had 20 jobs and we filled all of them. Okay, that's an A plus on your test. You know, stock price goes up. You know, we just don't have
that's exactly what the last guy was kind of referring to too. It's you have to look at this stuff different. I mean, yes, it makes sense to look at it as in the form of a business and the tokens are a stock, quote unquote, right? But this model is totally different. So you can't use the same lens that you look at TradFi as you do DeFi. It's totally it's just a different animal. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, man. I mean, you know, they're going to make it the only thing. So if these tokens are considered securities, that's not necessarily a bad thing. right?
No.
They just have to register and everything like that. But the only bad part about that is once if we get a different administration in the SEC and they decide, oh, well, we want to clamp down on this stuff again. Now you've run into the same exact problems that we were running into 2-3 years ago. So they could
Right.
just revisit all this stuff again. You're a security, blah, blah, blah. You know, you
Yeah.
get back into the same thing that you were in. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
but then you have some things happening too, where like XRP is an ETF now, so essentially it's
right.
you're trading a security contract,
Yeah, yeah,
right? I mean, if
Yep.
you're buying the XRP ETF, you're buying XRP as technically as a security, right? That's what an ETF is.
correct. Yeah.
I mean,
So maybe that's the
they're
clue.
blurring the lines, already. And I mean, then you think about, oh, now we're going to go 24/7 with the stock market, and all the stocks are going to be tokenized. So is this whole thing just going to be one big market, and these are all just companies that you could trade 24/7? You could trade Apple just like you could trade XRP, and they're all technically securities,
Right.
and that's not a bad thing.
Right. Exactly. Yeah,
Right.
as long as the only difference is TradFi has had 100+ years of rules of the road where DeFi hasn't. That's really
Yeah, I
the
mean,
only difference, man.
what's going to be weird is like in XRP's case is like, if Ripple goes and IPOs, well, now you have this token over here, then you have the company.
Right. Yeah.
Then that really gets complicated. So it's like, well,
Yes.
which one do I invest in? Why would I invest
Right.
in this one versus that one? Do I invest in both of them? Why, I don't want that to happen. I want that
Me
to just
either.
be, I want to invest in one thing and know that I'm getting exposure to that business model.
Yes, and I hope for that exact reason that these companies do not IPO. I really hope that they don't, because then it really is like, well, what do I need the token for? You know what I
Right.
mean? What's the point of the token anymore? So I hope that they don't do that, and I hope that they just kind of stick with the model that they have, and people can view the token, quote unquote, as a share of that company if they so choose. That's what I
Because
hope it stays
right
as.
now, in order to speculate on Ripple's business, you buy XRP.
Yes, same as
Like
Link. Same
what
exact reason as Link.
Same thing as Link. Yeah, exactly. Yep. I mean, that's the reason, the same reason why, yeah, exactly. I mean, but I don't like that you have to speculate on the token price. We need to marry those two. We need to,
yes,
the token needs to move based on what's going on in the business.
Right. Token needs
to
reflect valuation of the underlying business.
Correct. And so how do we get there? I don't know, but
I don't know either. But if that's the case, we've got some seriously undervalued tokens out there.
sure.
If you think about it, if let's just say if Ripple IPO'd tomorrow, what would the valuation of that thing be at? I mean, it'd be probably massive.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. I mean, the market cap of XRP is 130 billion. I mean, that's essentially the market cap of Ripple.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a representation of Ripple and what they've done.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with take Ethereum. I mean, think about that.
Right.
What if Ethereum IPO tomorrow?
Oh my God.
That would be insane.
Yeah.
It would be crazy.
Yes. It's interesting. I'm just looking forward to, man. I'm really looking forward to what they actually bring to us with this Clarity Act. I hope it's good. I hope it makes sense. I know we're not going to probably get everything that we want, but if we can get 40%, even half maybe of what we want, it's going to be massive.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Yeah. Well, hey, we made it work today. This was fun. It was a little different. I don't know what the hell was going on with Spaces, but I guess we'll close up shop here in a few. But real quick, before we get up on out of here, guys, a couple things. If you guys want to fund a crypto IRA, got iTrust Capital here. You could sign up through my link down below in the description. If you're over on X, you can find it as well, just by going over to my link tree. But yeah, we're going to fund you with $100 bonus when you sign up. If you're looking to put some crypto like XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum in an IRA for the long term, maybe for your kids. It's the top company in the United States in order to do that. So definitely check them out if you haven't already. And then, yeah, if you want to come on over and join us at the Patreon too and become a private community member, we got some great perks there for you as well. Let me go ahead and do one of these so you can actually see it. And then, yeah, so all kind of great stuff inside here too. Full portfolio access, buy and sell alerts, private Discord, built a new portfolio. We do some exclusive video content as well. So, yeah, come on over and join us over there. And Cliff, thanks, man. Thanks for all the great conversations. Zach, thank you. Paid, Butasco, Matthew, who joined us, everybody who came in. And have a good rest of your day, guys. Appreciate you. See you guys tomorrow.
Later, guys. Have a good one.